record. Alright, so I just posted that I'm going to be streaming. Ooh, I should be joining JS4. Right. So yesterday, let's see where I got to. Yesterday I had some free time. I reviewed a few submissions, so that was fun. During my session yesterday, I was wrapping up Kanban board. So today I'm going to finish Kanban board. And then I got select and minesweeper, and I'm done. So this is where I left off yesterday, I believe. I was able to write the data into local storage. So the data is all here. That's good. So now I have to display them. So let me display them. So to display, I got the data. Let's from local storage. So let's make sure that every board got their data. Wow, this board has all of the items? Is that right? Seems like that's right. Okay. So this board have all of it. I need to, that's this board. I need to display it. So to do that, where instead of starting to-do list from here, I should start to-do list. Instead of starting a to-do list from empty array, I should start the to-do list with the data that I already have. So to-do list equals data.map. Then every string going to return new to-do. Pass in the container, the index of the board, and then the string. Parentheses is optional if you only have one argument, but I'm gonna put it there. Save. Cool. So now if I refresh the page, whoa, all the information shows up. So now if I move the hello world around, let's move to 6.6 over here. Oh, that's not good. Something was fishy. So let's look at the storage. It seems like it's never stored in the right place. So let's look at what's going on. Store data from boards. Oh, I'm never calling the function. I see. So now if I call store data from boards, okay, now when I refresh the page, yeah. So after I move things around, I think what I need to do is I need to run the function store data from boards. So when I refresh, yeah, so every time I move, I need to run the store data from boards function. So the local storage can be updated. And if the local storage is updated, that's how when I refresh the page, the data shows up. So let's figure out where to run it. Okay. So when I click left or right, I need to run it, right? So in the to-do item, left and right. store. Cool. So whenever I move left or right, I should run the function. Let's try it. So I'm going to move right, the 552 to the right. And now I'm going to refresh. Yes, that worked. Cool. So now I think the instruction said if I click on it, I should delete them. But I feel like moving was the hardest part. I mean, I have functions to help me add already. Like if I wanted to add to the first board, like bun, challenge. Yeah, if I want to add to the board, I already have that functionality, so I don't have to worry about too much about adding or removing. So I guess let me add a to item. What am I going to do now? Add undo. Okay, I'm gonna add the undo functionality and what else? Ooh. After I add the undo functionality when I refresh, okay, it won't be there. So okay, so I'm gonna add the undo functionality. So when I go here and I click on undo, it should jump back. Let's do undo. So for my undo, I need a HTML element. Wow, my HTML is just a container. Undo. Be a button. Undo has background color. Let's make it green, red, blue, green. RGB. Why does it look so weird? Okay, background color. Width is 200 pixels. Let's make the height. Let's not change these. Okay. Position. Fixed. Right. 0. Let's make it bottom left. Bottom 10 pixels from the bottom. 10 pixels from the left. Okay. Yeah, so now I have this undo button. And when I hover over it, I want this to be a pointer. So let me do a cursor pointer also. Nice. Now it looks pretty. Click on it, but nothing happens. Okay. So let's think about how to undo. Like to do undo, we need a list of actions, right? So every time I do something like move left or move right, move right, move right, I kind of need to keep track of all the actions that I've done. So I need an array to do that. So let's do the actions. Let's create a variable. Const actions is an empty array. And every time I do left, I do actions push move left. The action, I'm gonna call it move left. And then what data do I need? Oh, the string, what I'm moving. So value is str. And then basically which board I'm moving left from. So board is index of the board, which is board ID. So whenever I make up a key and value and they have the same name, I don't have to put colon. That's just a shorthand syntax. So every time I move left, I push into action. Every time I move right, I also push an action. Cool. So now let me console.log actions. Okay. So when I move left, and I move left again, and then I move right. So I did a move left, move left, move right, right? So all of the information is there. Okay, cool. Now, move left, left, right. Okay. So now when I undo, if I look at this console log, when I move left, and I move left, and I moved right again, when I undo, I want to move this one out of the array. So that would be a pop action. So I know which one to undo. So I'm going to do undo, and then undo.add event listener. When I click, I need to do cons action equals dot pop. Okay, so someone wants the URL. The URL is here. Thanks for asking. And if anyone have any questions, just post in the stream channel. So I get the action, console.log action. All right, let's see what we get. I'm gonna refresh the page again. I'm gonna move this left. And then if I undo, it should say left. Move left. Okay, that's good. So when I move right, when I undo, it should say move right. Okay, that's perfect. So now when I move this right, right 2 times, right, right 2 times, I click undo, it should go left, left. Or it should say right, 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 right. Yeah, cool. So then I just have to undo it, right? So if action, when I push, I think action is a misleading word, so let's do name. If action dot name is equal to move left. So if the user click move left, then what I need to do is move right. Right? Just move it to the right. So to do that, it would be boards at index action dot board ID plus 1 dot add item action dot string action dot value. Okay, let's see if this works. So if I move left here, and then if I undo, this guy should move back. Oh, what is that? That is ugly. That doesn't even make sense. Let's try this again. If I move this left, right? Now, oh. And then when I undo, it's a move left action. What I need to do is, oh, what happened was this board ID, when it moved left, it's a move left, but the board ID is still here. So this board ID needs to add the item because this board ID lost the item. And then this guy needs to remove the item. Okay, so to show you guys what I really meant, it's the board that lost the item, because like if I click move left, the board itself lost the element, right? So then the board that got lost the item needs to actually get the item back. So, oh, and I need to clear the string after I push into the action. And then I need to do this afterwards. It's down here, that down here. So what happened just now, I don't know if you guys, anyone noticed, is when I put the string here, then I'm essentially always pushing in string. So push that in here. Do that afterwards. Cool. Okay, that's good. Ready. So now let's try it. If I move this left, 892, and I move it left, and then when I undo, it should come back, and it came back, so that was good. I just have to delete that, right? Delete it from this guy. So essentially, boards. So I moved left, so boards at index -1. So action dot board ID -1 needs to remove item. Okay. So how will it remove the item? So I need this remove item function. So let's do, and this remove is in the board. So board needs to do this dot remove item equals. And if I want to remove item, it's to remove the last item in the array. So to remove the last item in the array, I do to-do list dot top do, and then to-do dot remove. And since I'm doing to-do dot remove, I need to go to my to-do class and do this dot remove. And this turns the string empty, and it does element dot remove. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's make sure. So I'm gonna add an item to the board that lost the value and the board that gained the item. I click on remove. So let's see. So I'm gonna move this left to the left. And I'm gonna undo. So this will gain back. This would have an add item over here, and this would have a remove item. So let's see. Whoa, that worked. Let's do it 2 times. So this one has 3977. Let's move it left 1 time. Move it again. Move it again. Okay. Now let's undo it. 1. Let's do it again. Boom. Let's do it again. Oh, okay. So move left and undo left works. So now I'm gonna do move right. If action name is move right, then the same thing. Whoever lost the item will get the item back, and then the one that gained an item, we remove it. Okay, so now let's move 3977 to the right 2 times. 2, and then we move it to the left. Okay. So when I click undo, this should go to here, right? So undo, it goes to here. And if I click undo, it should go back and then go back. So undo. Oh, it doesn't work. What happened? Nothing works. Okay. Action is undefined. That's an easy one to fix. So let's say if no action, and return. Okay, so I'm gonna move this twice to the right. Twice to the right. Undo. 0, 1, 2. Okay, so this one doesn't work. Move right doesn't work. What happened to move right? So move right, push the board ID and the string. That makes sense. So I'm pushing the right element in, and then the board that lost an item gained it. Oh. Let's test it out again. So if we move right twice, it doesn't work. Let's see if moving right once works. Undo. Okay, so move right just doesn't work at all. And let's see if we can figure out why. Console.log, moving right, undo, function called. I'm going to move 0892 to the right. Okay, notice how there's no console.log. So for some reason, this never gets called. Let's return here. So maybe I have a spelling typo, right? Oh, I got it. This is action.name. I made a variable change, but then this is action.action. So let's make it action.name. Okay, so if I move right here and I click undo, it should work. Yes. Now if I move right twice and I undo it twice, go back, right? So now if I go right, left, it should go back and then go back. Yeah. Cool. And then the question is, what if I test move top or center one? Okay. It's a good question. Let's move the top one. 7762851. Okay, let's move this one to the left. And then when I click undo, it gets moved to the bottom. So it should be moved to the top. That is a good question. I will fix that later. So if I move left, move right. So the move left and the right works. Now, I think it's a very interesting question that if I move the top one, it goes to the bottom. When I undo, it gets added to the bottom. So let's fix this problem. And the reason why, let's first understand why this is happening. So let's add a few more. Okay. So when I click move left and I undo, basically the index that it was moved left for is unknown. And I think that's going to be a problem. Yeah, so if we store the index that the array is in, that would make sense of that to-do list item. And to do that, we simply when we click move left, that's this guy. The problem is this object does not know what its to-do ID is. So to-do ID. So we need to pass it in. And then the board, and it has a to-do ID. Pass that in. Basically every time I add something, I need to do the to-do ID. But then if I do that, then that's gonna have another problem where let me think about this. So add item. If I add in a to-do ID and I remove a to-do ID, I have to reassign. If I add in a to-do ID, then we kind of have a list of to-do IDs in the wrong order. So that's not gonna work. Okay. So we can't do that. So the way we're doing the boards is wrong. So now what we should do, I think the easiest way to solve this problem then is to, when you hit on, every time you do something, you post all of the data in. Yeah. So so what I'm going to do now, like to make everything work, my current approach of moving things left and then moving it right to back to where it was originally is really difficult to do, and I don't think that's possible. That will make the code really hard to follow. So I think for this exercise, the best way to do it is if I click on the left, I would store all of the data. So basically every interaction, I would store all of the data in the to-do object. And then every time I undo, I re-render. That would solve a lot of problems. Okay, so one more time, just to clarify. Every time I move something to the after I move it, or before I move it, I would save the state of the entire board. And then I'm going to redraw the entire board. Like undo. Okay, so then we need to figure out how to redraw the entire board. So cons render. I'm gonna create render as a function. And then that boards. Oops. Run the render function. Okay, and the render function would do container equals container dot inner HTML equals empty string. So now we have we have a function called render now. And then where's the local storage? App data. So when the app loads, app data is loaded with that, but now, but app data could change over time. Okay, that's good. And then now that we did some refactoring and we're calling this render function, let's see if the render function works. Okay, this render function still works. Cool. Now when I click on left, I need to get the existing app data. And to do that, we do board data like that. So let's see, when I move left, so I don't need any of these anymore. This was the wrong approach. And then this was also the wrong approach. I don't want those anymore. But I do want actions.push data is data is going to be all of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of the board data, and then I'm going to stringify the boards like that. So by doing this, the entire state of the board I'm pushing into actions. This is like a very brute force approach, but I think it would have to be done this way, otherwise this app is just going to take way too long to build. So let's make sure that it works for one of the app before we move on to another one. So let's test it with move left. So I like moving left. So on data, I'm going to push the data, and then when I pop it, I would do app data equals JSON parse action.data, and then call render function. Awesome. Let's see if it works. There might be something that goes wrong, but I have console.log, so I can pay attention to that. Okay, this 222, I'm gonna move left in the middle, and it goes over here. And then now when I undo, 222 goes right back in the middle. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna move it left here. This 222 got moved left, and I'm gonna move the 88841 to the left from here. Then when I undo, 88841 got moved over here. And then when I undo again, the 222 got moved over here. But then there's a bug where this is not cleared out. So we're getting closer. Let's see. Oh, I need to push the state before I make any changes, right? So like when I make on when I click on the left, I need to save the action first of all the data that each board has at that time, and then I make the change. So let's try that again. So 89719, I'm going to move that to the left. And then 851, I'm going to move that to the left. And then when I undo, the 851 come back. And then when I undo, 8979 should also go back. Cool. So the undo part is done. And because I don't want to repeat this code, what I do is add a helper function. Add state to actions undo list. So move that. I run the add state to undo list function, and I add that for the right as well. So now I can click undo, left, left, and I'm gonna move this right, right, and then it's gonna come back, and then that one's gonna come back to where it started. Alright, so all the moving stuff works now. I just have to, when I type, add something, right? So that one should be pretty easy. And that one would just be the board. So I'm going to get the text area, and then text area dot add, and I also want the button dot add event listener, click. I would do text area dot value, once value equals that. If it doesn't exist, I want to just return. Otherwise, I want to add the item. Cool. Yeah. So add item works. But before I add the item, I need to run, save, store. I need to set the undo state. Add state, and then store data. So I need to add state to undo list here, and then I need to store data from boards. Add it to undo, and then store it in the board. So let's check it out. So I'm gonna type to do whatever I have left. Add functionality. Okay, let's submit that. Nice. And then when I hit undo, it should be gone. Yeah. Okay. So I refreshed the page, it came back. Add functionality, that's almost done. Add delete functionality. And then after add functionality, make sure I clear the input box. Okay. And then what other issues do I have? After undo, save the state. Right? So basically, there's a bug here. Let me tag it as bug. When I hit submit and I hit undo, it's gone, right? But then when I refresh the page, none of my undo seems to work. So after undo, save the state. That's the bug essentially. And then arrows should not show up on the first and last board. Okay, so there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things left to do. So I think adding the delete functionality would be really useful. Adding the add functionality. Did I finish that? Yes, I did that. Doing done. Okay, and then after the add functionality, I'm gonna clear the text area. So I'm gonna do this next. Okay, so after I add, do text area.value, use empty string. Testing. That work? Yeah, it did work. Okay, so this one is also done. I think what makes sense next is the delete functionality. So let me do that. To do the delete functionality, when you click on one of this H3 elements, it'll ask you if you want to delete it. And then if you say yes, you delete it. So to go to the item. It's my item. Right here. So I select the left and right. I also need to select the H3 element. That's the text. Right. I'll do if confirm. Are you sure you want to delete? So input. And this confirm returns true or false. So if it's true, then I'm going to delete. And delete is element.remove. And then string, set the string to empty string. But then before that, I need to set the undo list and then store data from boards so that it gets saved to local storage. Awesome. I think this works. So let's see. I'm going to delete this hello world. Yes. I refresh the page. It's gone. All right. Click on this. It's gone. Click on this. It's gone. Can I undo to bring them back? Yes, I can. Okay, cool. So I don't need that. Delete worked out. And then add delete functionality. That one is done. Cool. Okay, now after undo, I need to save the state. So let's work on that next. So I'm doing this now. Okay, after undo, save state. And save the state is just store data from boards. So after I click on the undo, which is after render, I save the state. So let's say I have this done, and then I move this to accepted, approved, and then I undid 3 of them, right? It should stay like this. Yes, that one is done. But this one we tested. Delete functionality, let's see if it works. It works, so approved. These 2 we don't want. Cool. And then this one we don't want either. This one I don't want. Okay, now refresh, everything is saved. This is good. Arrow should not show up on the first and last board. I'm gonna start doing this one. And then that one would just be in the to-do element. So Oh, why do I have to do ID? What does that do? It's a mistake. Okay. Cool. What was I supposed to do again? Error not show up in the first and the last board. So const left equals, and then if board let left equals that. Here's left. Here's right. And then replace them with variables. Right. If board ID is equal to 0, then left is an empty string. And then if board ID is equal to boards.length minus 1. I do this instead of hard coding it to 3. That way, if later on we wanted like 5 boards, we could have 5 boards. So, but I think hard coding it to 3 is actually better. Okay. So now this might give an error. So const left element equals that. And then if left element, actually, let me undo it. If the left exists, then I run this section. And then if the right exists, then I do this whole section. Okay, so I think I'm done with the left and the right. Hey, this one's not showing up. Okay, done with that. And this I can very visually see. And then make sure you don't want to delete this. That one's done. That one's done. That one's done. These ones I want to delete. Okay. Submit challenge 5. So now I'm doing, I refresh the page, it still works. I'm gonna submit challenge 5. Solves problem 5 of JS4. JS4, problem 5. Alright, that one is done. Let's make sure it shows up here. I'm on board. Let's see how many lines of code it took. Wow, this is a lot of code. 222. This is probably the hardest challenge. I don't know. We haven't done these two yet. So okay, so we are done with that challenge. I'm gonna move that to approved. I've approved it myself, and this is the Kanban board. Let's see. Undo. Yes. I moved the first one over. Should go back. Yeah. Okay. So let's start problem 6. Make sure problem 6 is in sync with master. It is now. It's for touch. Alright, so now we're moving on to 6.html. There's nothing there yet. Alright, so there's a lot of boards in these challenges. So these boards, I guess we can hard code. Create a box class and create 2D array to display n by n box. Fine. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. How do I plan to do this? So looking at this, my overall strategy is I'm going to create boxes like these first, and then each box class is going to have a on and off functionality, so I can turn it off and on. And then I'm going to add this like overlay feature. This overlay feature. Two parts. So part one is container to style it probably. Add some JavaScript. Container. Cool. So we have container. And then const make 1D array that takes in the number and let's say the row. Make column. Yeah. Takes a num and the row number. This I starts with 0 and result is an empty array. So if I hits the row number, then we know to return the result. Otherwise, we push a new box into there. So result.push box, and I pass in the row and the column number. And then return make call num I plus 1. And then since we're creating new box, we need to create a function box. Box. This has row and column, and then element. And then add a box class. And add the element to the container. And so now I need to style the box. So box would have a width of 50 pixels, a height of 50 pixels, a border of 1 pixels. Let's make it blue. Blue, yeah, light blue. Then solid, box sizing, border, box. And then maybe a padding, a margin of 10 pixels. Oh, it also needs display inline block. Let me just add that later. So make call of 5. This should create 5 columns. Oh no, string contains invalid character. So in this bug, it has line 16. It tells you what line your error is, so it's good. Create a div element. Cool, so now we have 5 boxes. It looks pretty cute. Each of the boxes, since it's a div, it's a block element. That's why it occupies the entire line. But if you give each box a display inline block property, now they are no longer boxes and they look like that, right? The problem with this is that because each box has a margin of 10 pixels, it kind of looks really weird on the left and the right. Because in the middle, it's 10 plus 10, so you actually have 20. So instead of margin of 10 pixels all around, I'm just going to do margin right. So margin right. Let's make that 5. Oops, I forgot to give it display inline block. Whoever started the recording for me, thank you so much. I thought I forgot to start the recording, but it seems like it is recording. Yes. Okay, so we have all the boxes down. Let's generate the 2D box. So cons make rows, the total number of rows we want, and then we start the index 0 and result. So if we get to the end when I hits row, we return the result. Otherwise, we run make column and push that into result, and we continue. So let's just copy that. Make call of the same number, I. Okay, so now we're gonna make rows. 5 by 5. That's not good. We only have 5. Huh. So make column is supposed to start at 0. So you're supposed to call this 10 times. Cons boxes equals. Let's see what boxes are. Oh, num is not defined. There's an error. Line 34. Num doesn't exist. I really meant row. Okay, so we have 25 boxes. So each box has a margin right of 5. So 5 boxes, that's 25. So the width of the container should be, if it's 5 boxes, it should be 250 plus 25, which is 275. 275. So container dot style dot width is equals to row times 55 pixels. Alright, so we have a 5 by 5. But right now there's too little space, like it's all squished together, top and bottom. So margin bottom will make it look really nice. So now whenever I have 2 margins, I usually try to condense them. Like top is 0, right is 5, bottom is 5, left is 0. So like that. So the first number is top, right, bottom, left, like a clock. It starts with 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Awesome. So now this looks good. We need a toggle on and toggle off property. So let's figure out how it's gonna work. So if I give this element a background color of yellow, yeah, that looks pretty good, yellow. So all of the box that has a selected class would have a background color of red and blue is yellow. No, red and green is yellow. Okay, but I can't see it. So each box needs to have a special function called turn off and turn on. Turn on equals that, and then turn on will add a class called selected, and then turn off, I remove the selected class. Okay, so let's try it. Boxes at index 3, right? So that would be row 3, and then at index 1, dot turn on. Let's see. Oh, it turns on. Let's turn it on again. Nothing happens. Let's see if turn off works. Nice. So now we can control turning it on and off. Cool. So now I think we worry about the drag div. So I need oh, that's annoying. So if I want to drag, I don't want to drag this element. I want to drag these. It's annoying. How do I prevent the drag? Just some of them. Drag. Okay. That drag I will think about later. I won't worry about it too much now. But when I click down and I move, I need to be able to figure out where I am when I move. So, and I should be able to click over here to like all around. So container.onClick. So container.add event listener to mouse down event. Console.log. Ouch. Mouse down. Ouch. Mouse down. Ouch. Okay. So I'm gonna have a div, and this div just floats somewhere. And this div, I'm gonna create a new div that just resizes as I move my mouse. So let's create a sample div. Let's call this div big box or selection box. Let's call it big box. Big box has a position fixed. Left is 0 pixels. Bottom is 0 pixels. Actually, let's do it top is 0 pixels. Background color. We want to make this transparent. So transparent, I use RGBA. RGBA takes in 3 values. The amount of red, I'm going to put 0. The amount of green is 0. And amount of blue is 0. So if I do no red, no green, no blue, that means no colors. That means it's going to be black. But I don't want full black. So I'm going to do 0. Maybe 8 to be kind of black. And then it also needs a border. So let's make this border of black, a little bit gray, or maybe blue. Blue. 2 pixels. Solid. I usually do 2 pixels, the color and solid, but I don't think the order matters. Maybe it does. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Oh. Why isn't the big blue box showing? Oh, there's no width and height. Width, height. Nice. It's a cool box. But too transparent. And the border is too thick. Make it thinner. And the border needs to be like more lighter blue. 0.8 is too dark. Nice. I like that. Like that. Okay. So let's move this box away. So let's move this away by setting the bottom 0. Okay. So wherever I click on it, the box should show up where my mouse is. And then when I let go, it should disappear. Let's do that. So mouse down, mouse up. So let is selected. Is selection time? No. When it's mouse down, is selection time? It's true. And then on mouse up, is selection time is false. Awesome. And then when I mouse down, I do E. So, oh, I need to look at the big box. Big box. So when I mouse down, big box. Big box dot style dot left equals E dot client X pixels. Top E dot client Y. Let's see. Nice. Okay. That looks good. So and then oh, a mouse up, I need to set it to show the big box dot display block. And then on mouse up, I need to set the display to none. And then by default, big box has display none. Awesome. Okay, so this is really interesting because if I click on this, right, and I go into the box and I mouse up, nothing happens. It doesn't go away. The mouse up event is not detected. So go into mouse up, not detected, right? But if I go here and then move away and then mouse up, that was a drag event. So that was the drag event. Oops, that was another drag event. Oh no. no. Okay, this drag event is really annoying. So, how to disable drag event? Disable drag and drop on HTML elements. User select none. Okay. And then, so the reason why we have these prefixes is because user select is very new. All the browsers have a different implementation of it. So then to get it to work on Firefox, need to do Moz or WebKit. I forgot which one. Yeah, so we might have to just do all of them unselectable. Let's see if that works. So on the big container, oh, it sucks how we need to write so many CSS property, one for each browser, just to have one CSS property. Sucks. But nice. So if I go out of the box and I do mouse up, the event is there. So this box gets in the way. So this box cannot register any events. So to do that, I think previously they showed you in Google Fair. Events none. So the big box needs to have pointer events none. Okay. Let's see. Yay. Mouse down, mouse up, mouse down, mouse up, mouse down, mouse up. Okay, so we're kind of getting there. Okay. So now when I click on it, as I move, I want the width and the height of the box to follow my mouse. So to do that, on mouse down, I need to set the mouse down element. Let start x equals 0, y 0. Okay, so here's the start x and the start y. I store it here, so when I do mouse move, I can find the difference between the two. Mouse move. So cons width equals the width is e dot client x. Let's say I'm moving to the right, minus start x. And then height is e dot client y minus the start y. And then set the width to width pixels. Set the height to height pixels. So now I can. So the problem now is that I can only move to the right. It looks pretty nice though. When I first click on it, I don't want that. So on mouse down, I should set it both to 0. This is good. So now I can drag it in one direction. I need to be able to drag it in different directions. So I can drag bottom left. Now I need to do this direction. And the question is, how do I know if I'm doing this direction, right? So that means this direction, if I drag this here, that means the X position is the smaller of the two. So X position this might need to change when I move. So const top left equals math dot min. It's the smaller of the two. E dot line x is dot x. And then might as well do the top. The top is also the smaller of the two, so left and the top is going to be left pixels. Alright, let's hope this works. Bet that didn't work. But here. Box moved. No, the box moved. I want the box to move. Maybe the width is negative. We can't have negative width. So math dot absolute value. So absolute means like get rid of the negative number. So math dot absolute. Let's see if this works. Get rid of, whoa. It's good. Okay, so we have this box done. Now the question is, why aren't you tracking the current X and current Y of the mouse? I didn't know there was a current X and current Y of the current X and current Y property. I was tracking the client X and client Y. And what is the difference? I don't know, so let's look it up. Mouse event current X. There is no current X property. So let's like start X, start Y. So current X is the client X. So as I move the current mouse, like current X equals E dot client X. Current Y is E dot current Y. So the question is, why aren't we tracking the current X and current Y? It's because I see client X and client Y as you move to be the current X and current Y. And right now, I don't see a reason for these to be like outside yet. It seems like we're doing all the rendering on here. So hopefully that answers the question. If it doesn't, keep asking. Cool. So now that we can move this, how do we select the right box, right? Like especially if I start it in the middle here. If I start it in the middle, that's not on any box, and I go up, how do I get all of the boxes within it? So that would be a really interesting question to ask. How do you get all of the boxes within this? I might need, this would be tricky. So I know where it starts with and where it ends. So I know the biggest, the smallest position and the largest position. And I need to go through each of the box to determine whether I should turn them on or not. So then I need a function that goes through each box. So let's do, okay, so now if I write like cons run all boxes, this needs to go through all the boxes. So boxes dot for each row, right? Row dot for each box dot turn set status function. So set status function would take in the small position and the big position. So small position, big. Okay. And then run all, check all boxes is better. So starting position, ending. So starting X is left, starting Y is top, right? Because we got the min already. And let's do big left and top. X is big left, Y is big top. Okay, so I get one of the streamers, one of the questions that were asked. The question is, why didn't we use current X and current Y? When we run through all of the boxes, since this is a different function, we need to access like the starting position and the current position. So it might make sense to put the current position as a global variable. But what I decided to do instead is I create a helper function called check all boxes, and then I'm passing them in to this helper function. So that way I don't need to pollute the global scope. But I think a very reasonable approach for this problem during an interview is to just set everything to global, because and just call out that it's not good to set variables in the global, but you're doing it just because of time. So let's look at so we need a set status function. So let's, and the reason why I made a set status function is because now everything is within this box. So it makes things easier. Start, end. start. And so every time I move my mouse, it should give me like 25 events. So, oh, check all boxes not defined. All boxes. So yeah, so a mouse move, it keeps giving me the start and end. Which reminds me, a mouse move, like if we are not like running is selection, I want to just return so I don't kill the processing. So every time I move, okay. So the start is 80, 90, and the end is 148, 155. That's good. What if I went here? The start is 34 and 33, and then the end is 88, 90. That's good. So if I start about right here at the very edge of this box, the start is 10. Cool. So now as I go through all the box, I just need to make sure that the box is in the range. So if I do a selection like this, how do I check to see if the box is in the selection or not? Dang. We know if the box is not in the selection. If the box is not, like if I just did this box over here, right? If the box is too far away from from where I selected it, so the starting Y, I guess. Ooh, this is tricky. So this start position is okay. Cool. So the smallest X and the smallest Y. So this starting position for the Y is 134. So maybe I could click on, instead of the starting position of the Y, I do the starting row. So like whenever I move like this this Y position is in within a row, right? So this starting is in row, because the Y is 239, is in which range? So this is 0 to 50, right? This is between 0 to 50. Yeah. So the start is between 0 to 50. This would be 0 to 100, 50 to 100, and then 100 to 150, 150 to 200. So there's like ranges here. So if the starting Y, so instead of the starting Y, we should compute which range it is. So given a number like 87, 87 is starting at this range between 50 to 100. How do I get the Y number? So we add increments to 55. Okay, so we can write a function that does that called fineRange that takes in a number, and I starts from 0. it takes in a pixel value and it keeps incrementing by 50 until I is bigger than the pixel value. Okay, so if I times 55 is bigger than pixel value, then return I. Otherwise, return find range I plus 1. Again, this is how I do it. I think there might be other ways to do this that maybe I'm overcomplicating it, but this is how I see it. So let's do find of left of top. Let's see if this works. Oh, let's remove the console.log. Let's just do start. Alright, let's see that. The Y range is 2. So I started from here. The Y range should be 1. And the X range should also be 1. So then the find range is 1 too big. Find if I plus 1 times 55. Let's try that. Nice. So I'm starting in the 0. That's good. That's good. If I go up to here, the Y should be 0, 1, 2, 3. And then it goes to 2. Then it goes to 1. Yeah. And then it goes to 0. Okay, so we got the range of the X and the Y. Okay, so let's do this end also. So we know which index the boxes need to start with and end with. So if the boxes is smaller than the start, then turn off. So if the row of the box is smaller than start.x, maybe smaller than or equal to start.x, then this dot turn off. Let's just do smaller than or equal smaller than. If row is smaller than start y, let's only do y. And if row is bigger than end y, then we turn off. Okay. When we turn off, we make sure we return. So let's see. Oh no. Doesn't seem like anything is happening. Oh. This dot turn on. Otherwise we turn it on. So let's see. Moment of truth. Hey. Wow. Nice. What if I click in the middle here? Wow. Even if I click on the middle, it still works. Wow. This is very detailed. Now I just need to do the X. So if the column is smaller than start x, then turn off. And if the column is greater than nx, then turn off. So basically, I'm just finding all the places where it turns off, and then if it hasn't returned, we're just turning it on. So yeah, this is it. Did it. And if I select right in between, it still works. I don't have to touch the box. Okay, so this works. I'm done with this challenge. So solves problem 6 of JS4. Submit 4, 6. Okay, so I'm done with problem 6. I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you guys... So after working as a software engineer, if you guys are ever thinking about, you know how when you go to interviews, they ask you to write a function that does this, write a function that does that, like write a function, and you think about how are these people coming up with these functions, right? The answer is these. When you build apps, you're going to need to write these helper functions. You're like, oh, I need to write a function that finds a range. So then what engineers do is that whenever they come across these functions that they're like writing that they think is interesting, they will turn that into an interview problem. So, you know, when you're doing algorithm problems, think about, it helps to think about what the engineer was doing when he came up with this problem. So like, I created one algorithm problem here that I could be using to, you know, to ask people engineering problems, and then check all boxes, right? Like see if a box is in range of of a big box. This could be an algorithm problem. This make 2D boxes could be an algorithm problem. Just, you know, just in case you're curious. Okay, so last problem is Minesweeper. So growing up, I love playing this game. So lost. Whoa, it's lucky. Okay, so the way I'm going to build this game, the first part I'm going to do is just draw a box that's 10 by 10. And if I lose the game, since I have to restart, I need a function called create game that, you know, yeah, that creates game. And then instead of, so the way this game works is that all the numbers are defined already, and then they covered it up. So when we're building this, we're just going to not cover it up until the very end. So the first step is just build a 10 by 10 box. So git check out problem 7, git merge master. So create a JS4 folder. Okay, so I am ready to start. I need a container class and I need to style it. And then I'm just gonna style the boxes really quick, like display is going to be inline block, I know that. And then the background color, I'm gonna make it a little bit gray, so like, you know, all the colors, maybe like EEE. And then it also needs a border. The border is going to be darker, so like maybe 355. And then width is going to be 50 pixels. Height is going to be 50 pixels. Let's try that. And then because we want it to be 50 pixels, so we can predict the container's width. We need box sizing border box. So now we have our box. We can create our 2D function. Const start game, and then this would just run the start game function, and then size defaults to 10. And then what would start game do? So I need a boxes variable, so that boxes equals just nothing. And then I need a make 2D function. Cons make the array takes in a size I equals 0. Result is the final 2D array. And then to make the 2D function, I need a make 1D function. Size. And then I also need a data. Let's call it row column. So make 1D, if I matches the size, then we return result, we're done. Otherwise, we create a box object and we continue. So if I is equal to size, then return result. Otherwise, we push box. This box takes in the row and the column. Actually, the row is actually the size. Column is I. No. Yeah. What am I doing? Okay. So this is the row actually. And this is the num. How many columns we want. Okay. So the row, and then I is the column, which row we're on. That's good. Return make 1D num row I plus 1 result. Cool. We don't have this box class yet, but we can do that later. First, let's finish this make 2D function. What make 2D function is going to do is if I reaches the size, we know we have our result 2D array, so we return. That's done. Otherwise, we call make 1D, we run make 1D, and whatever make 1D returns, that array, we push into result, and then we continue to the next row. So if I is equal to size equals, we return result. Otherwise, result.push. Should I push? Oh, make 1D. Make 1D, same size, and then the row is what row I'm currently on, and then 2D size I plus 1 result. Okay, so now we need to create the box class because this guy is calling it. So box class takes in row and column. Element equals document.create element div. So whenever I create a box object, creating an element, and then I'm adding a box class to it, and then I'm appending it to container. And I don't have a container, so const container equals document.selector. Okay, so when my game starts, I run make 2D of size 10 boxes equals that. Awesome. So let's see if this works. Oh, this is not me. This is the demo. This is going to be me. So element.classList is not a function. ClassList.addBox. The child is an ancestor of parent. What are they saying? Oh. Okay, this is interesting. Now I get this blur of line up here. What is going on? Let's look at it. Wow, that's a lot of boxes. What happened to the border? Oh, did I not give it a border? I did give it a border. Oh, the border needs more than just the color. Solid. 1 pixels. Yay. So my container isn't sized properly, so my container should just be sized properly, and then I'm good to go. So my container, whenever I start game, container.inner HTML, let's clear that out, and then after I generate dot width, set the width to size times 50, and I do 50 because each box is 50 pixels. So size the box to that. Boom. Now we should have a nice 10 by 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted from 0 to 9, so that's 10. Okay. So now I'm going to set one of them as a box. So I need to create a set box function. This.setBox or setBomb. So element.inner text equals B for bomb. So boxes at index 0, 5 dot set bomb. Boom, bomb. And now this got pushed. It's very interesting because this text in a div is, I think, vertically aligned to be in the middle of the line. So then to make it work, all the other ones without the text is at the top, and then all the ones with the text, like this guy, you know, so it stays the middle, like B is in the middle of this entire line. So if we change that to, let's see, vertical line top. Yeah. So each box we need a vertical aligned top. Now let's make it a bomb. Now we can set a bunch of these as bomb. Okay, cool. So now I need to randomly make 10 of them bombs. So cons make bombs. And bombs take in how many numbers we want, and we need an index I to keep track of how many bombs we've made. Cool. So what we do is if I matches num, that means we have made all the bombs already and we return. Otherwise, we create a random row and we create a random column, and then we call the set bomb function. Well, we check to see if it's a bomb. Oh, so we need a is bomb function. Need to check is bomb. Am I a bomb? So return does it equals b. So let's set this guy to be a bomb, and then let's see, is bomb should return true. So it is a bomb, this works. But the other ones should not be a bomb. Okay, cool. So when we make a bomb, if I matches num, we return, we're done. Otherwise, we create a random x and random y. And then we check to see if the box at that index is a bomb. If it is a bomb, then we run this function again. We don't increase I. And then if it's not a bomb, we increase I. If I is equal to num, then we are done. Cons random row plus math.random times the number, and then we need to floor it. Okay, and we need to do random column. So boxes at random row, random column dot is bomb. If it is a bomb, then we return make bombs. We just try again, and we don't increment I. Otherwise, we do I plus 1. Cool, so let's make size bombs. Size. Why did nothing happen? Make bombs. It runs make bombs. Obviously, I doesn't equal to the number. Oh, I didn't set the bomb. Whoops. So rather than rewriting this over and over again, cons box equals if box dot is bomb, then make bomb, otherwise box dot set bomb. Set it as a bomb. Okay, every time I refresh, there's 10 bombs. Yes. So now what I want to do is let's run start game with 20 and see if it works. Whoa, 20 also works. Now it has 20 bombs. Cool. Okay, so that's it. Now when I click on, the next step is when I click on one of these boxes, it should show me the number. So yeah, when I click on it, it should show me the number. So when I click on element dot, let's move it after all the function definitions. Element dot add event listener to I need to count how many bombs there are in all of my neighbors. So maybe I need to do const count equals count bombs and then pass in my row and column around me. And then element dot inner text equals count. So I just need to write the count bombs function. So count bombs, exit is a function, takes in a row and a column, and basically it checks the 8 boxes around it. So I just have if 8 statements. So let count equals 0, if boxes at row -1 go up 1 and then go left 1. But this might be undefined, right? If I'm at the top row, that's undefined, so I have to check that. And boxes row -1 and call -1. They both exist. And then if count boxes at row -1 at call -1 dot is bomb, and increment increase count. Ooh, that was pretty hard. Okay. So now I want to. So this right here is when I click on this, it's really for the top left, and then I'm gonna do a top right, top and then top right. So top would be the same column, and then top right would be column +1. And then column +1. Cool. And then now, so we got 3 of the boxes. Now we got this box to the right. The box to the right would be the same row, and then the same row but column +1. So the same row, column +1. Okay, now I want to do this one. So row +1. Let's do these 3. So row +1, and then column +1. And then the middle one is no column. And then the one on the left is column -1. And then, so I just did the bottom 3. So I just did the bottom 3. Now I just need one to check one more. So that one, no rows. And then column -1. Okay, so I haven't tested this yet. Let's see if it works. So if I click on this, it should give me 2 bombs. Whoa. If I click on this, it should give me 3 bombs because 1, 2, 3. Nice. 2, 1. 2, 2, 1, 0. Hey. 2, 2. And then 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 1, 1, 1. So seems like it works in all direction. Cool. So now if it works in all direction, that means if I click on one box and it's 0, we want to keep opening up, keep revealing it. So when I click on it, okay. When I click on it, it needs to be revealed. So this count, everything works, but it's honestly taking up too much space. So I'm just gonna put it at the very bottom, and I don't have to think about it. Okay. So every time I click on it, I should check to see if it has been revealed. So this dot. So I need to check let revealed is false. And then when I click, if not, it's already revealed, I don't do anything. Time is up. Time is up, that's right. We have hit our 2-hour mark. But we are pretty close. Okay. That's a good reminder. Thanks for the reminder. I'm gonna stop here. This hits our 2-hour mark. We're able to count the scores. What I tomorrow when I start up again, I'm going to start recursively just opening up all of the zeros, and then if you guys have trouble following along up to now, I'll post a video up right now. And then tomorrow we can continue. So when I click on this and the 0, it should open up all the zeros around me. And then after that, as I open up each box and I don't die, I'm going to check for the game state. And then, yeah, check for replay and stuff like that. So I'll do all of that tomorrow. So this is the end of it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.